All right. All right. It's Sunday. It's Sunday and we're streaming. We're going to draw. We're going to animate. We're going to get going. And to start the stream, we're going to look at the progress so far. All right. So I have done a little bit of work offline, not too much, just basically I slapped some just blank frames on this and made them change color just to sort of imagine the timing and the scene changes. You'll see what I mean in a second. So let's watch what we have so far. I'm going to get the chat and everything set up, but let's just take a listen to what I have so far.
I feel like you don't need to cocoon people.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's an extra step that I'm not saying that I want to help the fictitious murder people be more efficient, but if I was going to.
Right. No cocooning?
No cocooning.
Well,
it's just a waste of...
But it's part of it. The demons tell them to cocoon people, and so they must.
I mean, it's like metaphorical.
But honestly, maybe it's not demons.
Maybe
it's large holograms that appear in boardrooms.
And the executives go into these hologram rooms in corporate America and the government, and it goes, and a avatar head pops up and says, "Here is the command recommended progress action to expand the overall directives." And then they sit there and go, "Yes, launch operation." And the human gives the AI the final order, and it goes forth. Imagine they go in a room, they're there, hologram of a AI avatar, looks like a person. I'm told in most of the systems it's a beautiful woman.
Sure.
And then they talk about the battle plan and what they're going to do to us, and the AI estimates in different reports how long until they've got total life extension or basically immortality, they believe. But by testing on the massive population, they'll both do the main directive, depopulate, while discovering how to live forever. That's their main goal by using us as the guinea pig.
This sounds legit. What? You don't think that super attractive lady holograms are plotting the demise of humanity in Fortune 100 boardrooms?
I just
seems legit.
I have the mental image of like the Power Rangers going into the wrong cave.
Yeah,
and
no
just
shit.
There's a bunch of executives there getting a different set of orders, and oh, sorry guys, we thought we were talking to Zardon or whatever.
Yeah. It's a rich scene in your mind.
Yes.
It
Little
seems
robot.
Seems like a lot of pageantry for what the goal of what one of these meetings would be.
because if this meeting takes place as described, that means that weeks in advance, one of these guys was like, "Hey, Marissa, we got to make sure we have the 3D model up. We got to have the hologram all set up. If anybody fucks up, everybody's dead."
Right?
Because you would have to kill people.
I assume you'd have to kill people anyway.
Yeah, right.
There's
so many people who die for every goddamn meeting.
I've been to like all hands meetings at companies and stuff, and I've been there when like something hasn't worked exactly, like a video didn't play right. I just imagine this AI hologram like just sort of like fizzling in and out, glitching a little.
The moment you got to be like, "Listen, we're going to switch to the overhead projector." That's a bad day. That's a bad day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if you're in the globalist cave.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, so disappointing.
Brutal.
Dan and Jordan. Dan and Jordan. All right. I have the outro. Come on. What's going on? Okay. All right. So that's what we have so far. And what I think I want to draw, because basically what I got started with, I got real sleepy. Kitty Canception. That's my alt account. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I don't think I saw it. Can you point it out to me? That's my alt account? You're saying Kitty Canception is your alt account? And was that another account you were chatting with me on? I'm not sure what you mean. All right.
Andy and
we were listening to episode 10. I don't remember how far. I bet we were about halfway through. So we're going to start that off about halfway into it. And let's look at this. This is the control room where Jordan is coming in to say, hey, Marissa, we got to make sure we have Bemba Jaws is my alt, and I tagged you. Oh, okay. Did you tag my alt account, the live account, or Kudos 2? So I don't know if I automatically see those. I actually have to go into my my video manager. I don't know why I didn't get a notification. So, just one sec. I don't see any mentions on Kudos 2. Like that I got tagged or anything. So send it again or tag it again or put a link in the chat room and I'll just check it out. Tag my live. Okay. It's okay if it's silly. I like silly stuff. The sillier... Oh, here we go. Mentions. Oh my god, that's so great. Oh shit. Is that a hairless? Or just really short hair? That's a hairless cat, right? Professional editing critique. Okay, so I don't have to tell you about the thing I drew. Your cat was supervising the whole time. Like, super like. Kitty. That's really great. Thanks, Bad Draws. Bemba Draws. Is it Bem Bad Raws? Or is it Bemba Draws? Very good. He's TV obsessed. That's so cute. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. That's really cool. So, Kudos live at 5. Are there any comments held for review? I have to look in here occasionally, like where the comments and mentions are, because it doesn't give me like a notification for that. Any hoodleby. So we're just gonna. I think I'm gonna pick up from this. Obviously, I need to put these frames behind that layer, and I need my rule for walking cycles is 2 pictures. Legs open, legs closed. That's all I care about for walking cycles. I don't care about knees. I don't care about hips. I don't care about weight. I don't care about any of that shit. That shit is cool, but that shit is stuff that like real artists learn to do, and they can do incredibly. For me, that's not the point. The point of this scene is to get Jordan in the door talking to Marissa, right? So we're probably going to do like what? It's going to be like 6 frames of him just so probably just 1 picture of him with the legs splayed out like he's walking. Probably don't even need that. I could probably get away with cuz it's behind here, right? Maybe have 1 with his legs open, and I'll make the arms move a little bit. But it should be quick because there's no point in lingering on this. It's just, hey, Marissa, we got to make sure we have the... And then it's going to cut to another scene, such as this, or such as this. Got to have the 3D model. Oh, the 3D model, of course, is this sort of mannequin Lana Del Rey 3D model. All right. So let's get it. Let's do it. So we're going to throw the podcast on. I still haven't got my drink, so I need to get a drink. So we're going to start the podcast, and I'm going to think about this and only this. Do it.
Yeah. At his event in Seattle, a protester got shot by one of his fans, got gut shot in a confrontation, and they liked at least.
So even if you disagree with protesters shutting him down,
thanks, Cobell.
you have to agree that
Glad
him
you
speaking
think that.
is a safety
I was
hazard
worried
at
that
best.
the Dalek one would be my
point.
best
But
one.
you would argue that it's
all
because of
downhill
his
from
radical
there.
leftists.
But he's a fucking prick.
Mm-hmm. So
That's not.
Sorry, try not to talk over it. Hey, Gradient, you just got here. You didn't miss anything. Well, actually, you did miss the big preview, but I'll probably play it again. Actually, let's do that. Let's play that one more time while I get my drinkies. This is Globo Cave Tester. You might notice I've chopped some of the audio a little bit. Great. This is really nice to have a few people that are familiar names. By the way, I would love to see if tell us about you. Tell me anything you want. You don't have to reveal anything you don't want to know, but I don't know, get something for me to remember you by, like maybe what part of the world you're in, or what you do for work, or something that I can help remember. Cobella has a hairless kitty cat who loves to interact with TVs. That's something I know. But yeah, I would love to read or hear, throughout the night. Today's going to be another big long stream. It's only 3:00 p.m. here, so I'm starting way early. I'll probably go till, oh God, who knows? This could be a long one. This could be 6-7 hours. We'll see. So let's get going. We're listening to episode 10. We're about halfway through it, so I thought I'd start it again. Something in this episode made me crack up, and I don't even remember what it was. It was really late, and I remember just like cracking up laughing. So I kind of want to take this back and see if I can find that part again. Anyway, here we go. Oh yeah, we're doing the tester first. So let's all look at the Global Cave Tester. Here's basically what we have so far.
And of course, in all those key blue cities where they murdered so many people before they rolled out the COVID shot, just to get some numbers up, they would cocoon you in a bag, put a catheter in you, and then murder your ass. Talk about a captive audience. There it is. Right out of a horror movie.
What's up? You're losing it a little.
Sorry, there's just a rhythm to that. Like, hey, they'll put you in a bag and they'll murder your ass. Talk about a captive audience. Yeah, right. I just feel like you don't need to cocoon people.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an extra step that I'm not saying that I want to help the fictitious murder people be more efficient, but if I was going to.
Right. No cocooning?
No cocooning.
Well,
it's just a waste of...
But it's part of it. The demons tell them to cocoon people, and so they must.
I mean, it's like metaphorical.
But honestly, maybe it's not demons. Maybe it's large holograms that appear in boardrooms.
Could be.
And the executives go into these hologram rooms in corporate America and the government, and it goes, and a avatar head pops up and says, here is the command recommended progress action to expand the overall directives. And then they sit there and go, yes, launch operation. And the human gives the AI the final order, and it goes forth. Imagine they go in a room, they're there, hologram of a AI avatar, looks like a person, to expand the overall directives. And then they sit there and go, yes, launch operation. And the human gives the AI the final order, and it goes forth. Imagine they go in a room, they're there, hologram of a AI avatar, looks like a person, I'm told in most. And then they sit there and go, yes, launch operation. And the human gives the AI the final order, and it goes forth. Imagine AI avatar. Looks like
Sorry, I just had to replay this a bit. Of
AI avatar looks like
seeing this. I don't know how if I like how it was edited. Quite. I don't know. If anyone has any opinions about this, like how I zoom
directives, and then they sit there
right here.
Go,
watch.
Yes, launch operation, and the human gives
from launch operation
the AI
to
the
this,
final order,
and then to that,
and it goes forth. Imagine
there's a weird little like effect you see that'll won't be there in the end, but there's a lot going on in this frame, and there's a lot of like weird little anomalies. I'm just talking about the anomalies. I'm just asking questions. So, like, I don't know. A lot of these little effects that I see, I, in a way, kind of don't mind. If it looks really obvious, like, oh, this was drawn on paper with hands, to me, that makes it better. That gives it the charm of, like, so, yeah, I think it looks, I think it's fine. And it's kind of sounds weird to say this if you watch the kind of stuff I spend lots of time drawing. Like, I really do care about so many little details, but then like something like this happens and I'm kind of like, meh. It's so weird. It's like I got a bucket of paint spilled all over the floor and I'm just like up on the wall, like looking at one tiny spot. I'm weird.
And the human gives the
So Chad, you said the zoom out and zoom in look good.
The final order.
I think. Thank you. I agree.
Progress, action,
I think it
expand the overall directive.
Just because whatever's going to come after it,
and then they
maybe
sit there and go,
and this
yes,
is the first time we see the Dalek making
launch
its resurgence.
And the human gives.
So I'm almost wondering if this should just be slower.
Order, and it goes forth.
Because, like, listen to how the timing, there's not a specific timing when it has to push the button.
And then they sit there and go, yes, launch operation. And the human gives the AI the final order, and it goes.
So maybe it should be a lot slower and he should hit the button right there.
Progress, action to expand the overall directives. And then they sit there and go, yes, launch operation.
And so
the human gives the AI the final order.
Launch. So have him hit the button where right now it's cutting to black. I think that'll just give us a little more time to sort of realize what we're looking at. Because I think I want to make sure that we can kind of
launch operation.
Get an eyeful of the launch room, let it zoom out, and then bring the Dalek in.
And the human gives the AI the final order.
So, and maybe I'll have him just travel a little slower, actually, and just make him take his time. So we zoom out, we see the control room, and then the Dalek zooms in. But right now, he's zooming in, like, real quick. He's like, it's like one frame.
Progress action to expand the overall directives. And then they sit there and go, yes, launch operation. And the human gives the AI the final order.
I mean, I don't know. It's fine. Those little things I can really change those up. I don't really have to decide right now. But, yeah. Thank you. So, zooming out look good. Animation look good. It's hilarious bringing back the Dalek. Yeah, I agree. I think not only is it like a great time saver to reuse assets, but it also it's like a callback, right? Like anyone who's a fan of the other episodes is going to be like, the Dalek! And yeah, because we have the Dalek, I drew him. It's in a separate file, so we can always bring him back. And I want to bring back as much as possible. Whenever we have to talk about Alex's mother, like we could just get that creaky old rocking chair lady back. Something. We'll see. I think as these go on, I'll build up a kind of library of Ray, right? So like if we have to talk about a celebrity or a beautiful woman, it's like, okay, boom, got Lana Del Rey. It saves time and it might make people laugh even harder. Today I decided to download the podcasts that I want to listen to onto my desktop. So we're going to play everything through that. It might help a little bit with into it. And here we go.
Clip where he's had nothing to fucking say.
Nothing.
Zero.
Everyone's involved.
We're
involved now.
You got to give him credit for really eating up time when he needs to.
Yeah, and then getting to where are these papers?
Yeah, the first part where they've all been involved for years and years and years.
Like I know all about these guys. The third guy.
And the third guy.
That's a bad look.
Lions, tigers,
I know
and what
all
were they
about
again?
these
Oh
guys.
my.
That's Rick Perry not remembering the agencies he wants to demolish.
The agency he runs now?
Yeah.
That one that he hates so much?
The one that he realized is super important once he was put in charge
of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want this. Oh, it's in charge of nuclear weapons?
Oh,
no.
Oh, no.
Everybody that's been hired for everything has had a complete look of shock the moment they found out what it is they're supposed to do.
Right, but you know why that is, because the people who are in charge and putting them in charge of those agencies want incompetence.
Right.
They want, because
then that gives them the reason to privatize it and get it out of government entirely.
Yep.
That way you think, oh no, it's that government is wrong instead
Government's
of,
flawed.
oh, we hired fucking morons.
Yep.
Oh, can't we, and then redact the next 10, 15 sentences that I say. NSA, please no. Please no.
The other thing that I think is really unfortunate about that clip is he's talking about trying to give people cheaper housing. And Steve Mnuchin, in particular, was pretty heavily implicated in some really shady housing business.
Now, he did try to give people cheaper housing. He just failed miserably at butter of the InfoWars.
This clip is a little bit longer, but it needs to be listened to, and we can pause at any point, but I think it might document a slight psychotic break on Alex's point. So it's worth it, but
instead of just a borderline Alzheimer's stroke there where he just rambles about how sick things are and then forgets what it is.
Yeah, I will pause it after the George Soros lie just to explain, but then we're going to get into a fucking wacky fantasy.
Yay!
But here are the headlines. Goldman Sachs says Trump rally has been curbed. Bloomberg. Goldman Sachs economists are starting to worry about President Trump. Yes, Bloomberg's putting all the bad news out now.
Wait, what?
Time to sell the dollar on erratic Trump policies. J.P. Morgan, they're all putting out the line. Because it got leaked last week by good intelligence agencies was that George Soros is basically naked shorting the dollar and the pound to punish us, to get us back under global government. And so, of course, we can't have him go bankrupt. We've got to have J.P. Morgan and Bloomberg and Goldman Sachs all come out against America and England. They're doing that too.
So here
No, we already talked about how he thinks George Soros shorting things means that he's evil.
Yeah, but also beyond that inaccuracy, there's also just the lie that it came out from good intelligence agencies that George Soros is shorting the dollar. What he's referring to is what we talked about on a past show.
Yeah, like Bloomberg.
No, that financial organization accidentally posted everyone's shorts online when they weren't supposed to. They posted those short bets. He didn't short against the dollar or the pound. It was a German bank, the Deutsche Bank, and that Dutch bank, ING.
Yeah.
Those were the shorts that came out.
Yeah.
He's absolutely lying. And then saying that it comes from good intelligence services is lying about the sourcing of it. It's absolute wacky bullshit.
Well, I mean, technically,
I think
if it was leaked and it is accurate, those are good intelligence sources.
But it was
so in a
the person who posted it came out and apologized, said it was an accident.
Yeah,
probably should have gotten shit canned.
Probably.
Also,
unless he was working for
the Patriots.
The Patriots.
And not the football team.
And not the football team. They didn't need any help.
No. But
they had their own leak in the fourth quarter of the football. Yeah.
Hey.
With the error. You remember that one?
Yeah. I have no position on that, but Alex will talk about that eventually.
I bet Alex does, yeah.
But, so, I mean, that's just crazy. And then the articles...
That's fucking nuts.
The articles that he's posting are about speculation that it's possibly time to get worried about our currency because of Trump's erratic...
No, it's absolutely time to get worried about our currency.
But because of Trump's erratic behavior. It's not saying, hey, everyone, sell your shit. It's saying that this could be dangerous times ahead.
Yeah.
And any responsible financial advisor would probably, without like getting panicky, tell you like, all right, this is something to keep an eye on.
Aha! See, they don't have to do that anymore now that the fiduciary rule has been gotten rid of.
Oh boy!
So your financial advisor can
lie.
Flat out lie to you for their own gain.
Yep.
So why would you have a responsible financial advisor? That guy's broke.
Yeah, he's a fucking douche because he knows things.
Yeah, exactly. That's against the law in Trump's America.
Well, integrity can't be profitable anymore.
No.
Anyway.
Was it ever?
Let's enjoy this psychotic break.
Let's enjoy!
And all together, naked short our currency and our stock market to destroy it. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, because I forgot. Because Trump works for you, right? He's doing what you want. No, he's doing the opposite. And I'm almost convinced the average American doesn't even deserve Trump. I'm serious.
You're right.
They just want to fantasize how they're on the winning team. And if the media says you're on the winning team by destroying Trump, well, God forbid he's trying to give you a life raft in the middle of the frozen Arctic Ocean. God forbid he gives you a space heater or some food. God forbid he actually not be out to get you.
Yeah, what did we do to deserve Trump?
Well, he meant it the other way.
I know, but let's entertain that notion. Did we have a national sin other than the torture, the invading all the terrible countries, all of
our history,
all of the American history? Slavery, racism. We have this common.
You could make a really compelling argument for karma.
Yeah. This is karma.
It doesn't work karmatically, though, if that's the right way to phrase that. It doesn't work karmically because
there
the people
we go.
who are going to be
karmatically is a really good restaurant.
the people who are going to be most hurt are the people we've hurt in the past. Like Trump coming into power is only going to hurt the people who deserve retribution.
Yeah, well...
It's going to be like a grindhouse film, but where the victim is also the one who gets killed again. Or something like that.
The victim kills themselves.
Yeah,
It's a grindhouse film of nothing but suicides.
Yeah.
Great.
This Trump fantasy goes far, far deeper than this, though.
Because after all, you don't deserve that like the elites have told me, because the public is a bunch of scum, Alex. And they're evil, and they inherently want to be hurt. Alex, you'll never be in a bad position because you're smart. You're one of us. You'll learn, Alex. One day you'll come and work for us. One day. That's why we're going to let you live. Well, guess what? Trump doesn't want to be part of this either. And I will never be part of screwing everyone over. Because let me tell you, a big percentage of people do care, and they know the truth, and they're as upset about this as I am. And together, we're going to beat you. You understand that? I don't care what you turn the public into, or if 80% of them act like animals. I'm not lowering to your level and feeding on them. I'm not a cannibal. Bloomberg, sworn to break up your family, sworn to get your guns, admitted technocrat who brags in profiles that he wants to run every facet of your life and have you live in a 225-square-foot coffin apartment with everything you do surveilled and no more families and total control.
That's a big coffin.
He is a monster. He says he wants to decide what you're going to eat. He calls himself the great technocrat. He made tens of billions of dollars extra just in the last few years because he's wired into all the high-frequency trading and all the grids and all the smart meters and everything. He wrote the systems with the NSA that literally control you and game you.
Was the Great Technocrat in the Flintstones? Whenever that
It's the
went,
Great
did
Gazoo.
that? Oh, it's the Great Gazoo.
That
was the jump the shark moment for them.
He flashes up like a Time magazine article that's called The Great Technocrat. Like, he doesn't call himself that. That was an article.
No, yeah,
That's a title of an article.
he calls himself the Great.
Also, I don't fucking know how Michael Bloomberg is going to decide what I eat.
Also,
that sounds like a huge responsibility for someone to decide what I'm going to wear and what everyone's going to eat.
You know, on some days, looking at the cereal aisle,
Yeah.
and trying to figure out what cereal to buy, I just wish Bloomberg had the answer for me.
You got to get the Bloomberg app.
Can we get a call into Bloomberg right now?
You got to get the Bloomberg app.
Is
on
there
your
an
cell
app?
phone. Yeah, it just tells you what to
Okay.
eat.
All righty.
He's a technocrat.
He's a technocrat. He's the great technocrat.
His fantasy goes deeper.
Okay.
That's something I always hear from conspiracy weirdos and so-called patriots. It's like, socialists, they want to tell you what to wear and what to eat, what to think. The only people in my life who've ever told me what to wear, what to think, what to eat was the Christian church and mainstream, like, normal society. Like, you gotta wear a suit, you gotta wear a tie. Yeah, there's no point in controlling everything like that, because society controls itself like that. Like, our society decided men have to tie this little thing around their neck, and it has to be tied like this special little way. And if you don't dress like that, you don't care, or whatever. Like, you're not professional. But whatever, like, we don't, there isn't like one dude who's like controlling that. He's like, today we have to make sure that every dad out there believes that ties are what makes you look professional. Society just does that. we have enough rules that we all already just like enforce very, very strongly. And it's leftists, or I suppose postmodernists who would question those things, and they are the great Satan, the great evil, the great thing that wants to take us over. And like, basically they turn someone saying, well, what if a woman didn't want to wear a skirt into, they're saying women aren't allowed to wear skirts, or men can wear skirts only. It's such bad faith arguments. Like, you don't even have time. It's what, you can't even take it seriously. Churches have the strongest rules about dress. Absolutely. Like, there's no other, like, when you think of controlling what you wear, like, the first thing that pops in your mind is a church with like, like whatever church it is, you know, whether it's Christian or Mormon, or I'm sure any other ones, they just have this, hey, you got to dress like this. And it makes sense. Hey, we're all in the same club. We dress the same. We want to be able to spot you in the wild. So, you know, dress the way we've all coded to dress, and you might be in the club. Because it's like you want everyone to have matching shirts. It makes sense, right? If you're going to start a little intramural Quidditch team, you're all going to want the same color robes, you know? It's It makes sense in a way. But people just take it way too seriously. Yeah, they can use it to control women. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what Catholic school uniforms are. Like, it's like, I can't believe these women, they make women dress in hijabs. And then they turn around and they're like, I just bought this skirt for my daughter because that's what she's mandated to wear. It's like, I can't believe they don't let they don't let men look at women. It's like, look at my daughter's knees and thighs. You must. My daughter shall not cover her knees and thighs with pants. My daughter shall have her legs exposed for all to see. Not like those Muslims. Yeah, it's so nonsensical. It's all a bunch of goofy stuff. My position on religion is that everyone needs to just not take it too seriously. It's fine if you want to play and do the stuff. Just don't take it too seriously. Remember, it's for entertainment purposes only. Religion. It's for entertainment purposes only. People do get a lot of entertainment out of it. It's a lot of fun to think about the mythology, right? It's fun to play in that space. But then, Monday morning, you gotta shake it off and you gotta get, live in the world after that.
And so if Microsoft wants a system to game you, or Amazon wants one, or Alibaba, they got to go to him because he's given all the advanced technology as the little high priest. They've decided to manage it, to screw you over. Man, he makes me sick. And then he's got all the little trendies loving it because in all these publications and in little announcements, you won. You're
all the little trendies.
Also, unfortunately, we're trendies.
Is that a nickname?
It's a pejorative term for people who he thinks are like idiots. It's like he doesn't want to say
trendies.
He doesn't want to say sheeple, so he says trendies.
Trendies.
Yeah, because whatever.
Because we follow the trends.
Mm-hmm, whatever is the
Because
cool,
we don't fight against the coming tide of globalism.
Whatever is the cool social outrage trend, you're going to be tricked by it, you goddamn trendy.
That could be possible.
And you're just fed MSM lies.
That's also possible.
I don't know. I don't watch the mainstream media either.
You just watch InfoWars, which is why I'm starting to worry about you. You texted me 8 different conspiracy theories about what's going on behind Alex Jones's show.
I did
This
not.
is bleeding into your thinking.
I did not. What I said is I'm starting to suspect that possibly Roger Stone is pulling the strings.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
I didn't say it was true. I said it's possible.
Yeah. No.
Anyway.
a winner. You're part of the winning team. You live in downtown Austin. You're under the smart meters. Yeah. You don't have kids. Yeah.
Wonderful.
You don't have a yard. Yeah. We DNA test your dog's poop to make sure you're not letting your dog poop outside. But that's not a surveillance grid. That's not beyond Big Brother or Brave New World. Yeah. You're down with it.
Yeah.
You're traveling to another dimension. It's called Agenda 21. It's called Code Next.
Yeah.
Which is next code for the next download, your next directive in the Borg assimilation. Into a system where you're assimilated to be destroyed.
Oh.
The end of humanity, openly announced, the end of man. Why the future doesn't need us. Hundreds of books, thousands of white papers I read 20 years ago, and now I'm watching it happen. I'm living it. And I go down, and there's people with huge mustaches and a pink sock and a green sock dancing with potbellies. And they go, screw you, Alex. We don't care. And I'm like, it's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool, actually. I think your green and red sock is cool. But listen.
What?
You're not individual by being screwed over by this and by believing that this is how you're cool.
He's talking about elves. He's talking about elves.
With cool mustaches, a green and a red sock.
Yeah, what?
This is the part that I was losing it laughing last night. I think your mustache is cool, actually. We're going to have to write this down.
I said it's possible.
Yeah. No.
I think your mustache
Anyway.
is cool, actually.
You're a winner. You're part of the winning team. You live in downtown Austin. You're under the smart meters. Yeah. You don't have kids. Yeah.
Wonderful.
You don't have a yard. Yeah. We DNA test your dog's poop to make sure you're not letting your dog poop outside. But that's not a surveillance grid. That's not beyond Big Brother or Brave New World. Yeah. You're down with it.
Yeah.
You're down.
You're traveling to another dimension. It's called Agenda 21. It's called Code Next.
Yeah.
Which is next code for the next download, your next directive in the Borg assimilation. Into a system where you're assimilated to be destroyed.
Oh.
The end of humanity, openly announced the end of man. Why the future doesn't need us. Hundreds of books, thousands of white papers I read 20 years ago, and now I'm watching it happen. I'm living it. And I go down, and there's people with huge mustaches and a pink sock and a green sock dancing with potbellies. And they go, screw you, Alex. We don't care. And I'm like, it's a master plan to take you down.
This is bonkers. There are people with huge mustaches and a red sock and a green sock. What the fuck? I think my theory last night was that he like just had some experience where he was out and he got in a fight with people and he's just telling us these specific details like that. Maybe some people had huge mustaches and like one person had mismatched socks. And that he got in a big fight, and then at some point in the conversation, he was like, I'm not trying to make fun of your mustaches. I think your mustaches are cool, actually. I don't know. Like, I can kind of imagine whatever was happening, like him just being himself the way he will kind of like try to argue, but then he's like, I want to be perceived as the guy who took the higher ground. So I'm going to try to like be all understanding and stuff. And it's this really disingenuous troll way of trying to act like the understanding one. Hey man, I just want to have a dialogue. I just want to have an honest dialogue where we don't call each other names, you know? People with huge mustaches with a red sock and a green sock. Okay.
I think you're with huge mustaches and a pink sock and a green sock dancing with potbellies. And they go, screw you, Alex. We don't care. And I'm like, it's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool, actually. I think your green and red sock is cool. And they go, screw you, Alex. We don't care. And I'm like, it's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool, actually.
It's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool, actually. It's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool, actually. It's like, it's absurd because, I don't know, he's talking about existential bullshit of like, there's a master plan to take you down. Like, your life is in threat. Like, imagine someone is like, falling and you're reaching your hand out or they're hanging, you know, and you're reaching down to save them. And then you talk about like, no, but I think your mustache is cool, actually. I don't know. It's just so funny. Wearing mismatched socks, having a huge mustache, will bring down humanity. And dancing with a potbelly. That's the other thing. Dancing with potbellies. Saying, screw you, Alex. We don't care. See, like, that's what makes me think that he was probably at some, like, fair or something, and there was, like, a stage and a band playing, and Alex probably disapproved of something that they were doing or saying and got into a little screaming match. And maybe someone recognized him. That's Alex Jones. Screw you, Alex. And then he's like, real, the depopulation. And they're like, we don't care. Go away. So now he's like, you have people with huge mustaches and pink socks and a green sock dancing with potbellies saying, screw you, Alex. We don't care. And then he's like, rewriting, he's like, and all I said was it's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool. I was just trying to tell these guys that they had cool mustaches. Okay. Is that what happened, Alex? Is that why you and these people were fighting? Because you complimented their mustache? Or were you talking shit about their mustaches until it was obvious that you were being an asshole because everyone around you was looking at you? Yeah. So this is episode 10. This might be a contender for a little this could be a short video, but I might want to draw the people with huge mustaches, pink and green socks with big pot bellies dancing. Cuz you know what? One day when I was just drawing without really anything in mind, I started drawing a little jiggly body dancing. And you could say that's a pot belly. I could probably wiggle the belly out a little more. But like I already have dancing with pot bellies. I just need to draw the face on there, and we'll zoom out a little bit and we'll draw the socks, pink and green socks, and they'll be saying, "Screw you, Alex. We don't care. Screw you, Alex. We don't care." All right, that's great. I don't know, and maybe even that part before when he's like, "Yeah, pick it up. They DNA test your dog shit. Yeah." The part right before it. All right, so that's good. Now, the beauty of having a big document is that I record all the ideas on it, kind of a haphazard way, but it's there, and I use a lot of Control F to just remember the things. So if I say mustaches, pot bellies dancing, Ep 10, it happens at about 44 minutes. We'll say 44 minutes. Okay, good. So now I can get back to the task at hand. So we're still making progress on the current video. Let's go. Let's get back into it.
Sock is cool, but listen.
What?
You're not individual by being screwed over by this and by believing that this is how you're cool.
He's talking about elves. He's
cool-
talking about elves.
With cool mustaches, a green and a red sock.
Yeah, what?
Or a pink sock. It changed colors. but
Pink bellies? What is
they
happening?
have pot bellies and they're dancing
Pot
around.
bellies, and they're dancing around.
But that's what I'm
He's
talking about.
literally talking about Tom Bombadil. We've come full circle here.
We have Ouroboros, this thing.
Yeah.
He's-
What is going on?
But this is that psychotic break. He's imagining a person who's taunting him.
No, they if they see poop on the ground, they DNA test it, and then they somehow determine who the owner was, right? Because the New World Order obviously has omniscient. They can trace someone's dog DNA to the address. I that's what it seemed like to me. Like he was saying that it's this huge privacy breach of like my dog's DNA in the shit is my personal private data. And and I don't know. I thought he was basically saying like, so what if I let my dog shit on the ground once in a while? Like it doesn't mean you can DNA test it to track me down. I think Alex is the type of asshole who's like, whatever, my dog shat on the ground, it doesn't matter. Like, it's only a problem if other people do it. They could just have cameras everywhere. It's not as fun, you know? They gotta... DNA testing is part of it. They have to do scary science. It is a good practice to clean up after your dog. I lived in a neighborhood one time in Lima, Peru, and when I first moved in there, it was dog shit everywhere, all over all the sidewalks and stuff. And then there was this sort of like campaign where they put up all these little trash cans and little plastic bags in little rolls that you can take and use, and then little funny signs that said poner su caca en su lugar, which means put the shit where it belongs. And it worked. There's a lot less dog shit on the street. You just made it easy for people to do it. You create a kind of campaign for it. You get a catchy slogan, and it works. It's fun. So that I like that kind of approach to society. You don't have to spy on people. You don't have to punish people. You just make it easier to follow the rules, and you make it more fun to follow the rules. And you help people follow the rules who, hey, I forgot to bring a little bag with me, and my dog just shat, and it's like, oh, fuck it. And it's like, oh, fuck it. There's a bag right there, and there's a trash can right there. It's convenient, and now I don't have the guilt, and I can be pretty fucking lazy still. It's great. I'm sure Alex got cited by someone for not picking up after his dog. So many of his like big things are his like wide reaching conspiracies stem from a personal experience. Like he gets in an argument with a lady at this national park. What was that? It was like some state park thing where they like closed the trail or something, and he was like mad. I don't know. He's such a fucking idiot. Let's get back into it.
In the same way, earlier in this, he was imagining some guy at this Agenda 21 conference who was like, yeah, we're going to take everyone's money. Bleh.
Yeah.
I know he's using creative license to some extent.
Well, I mean, he did use the movie phone voice there, or the Dan LaFontaine voice.
But that's just him being like, I'm fucking serious.
In a world where Borg is a thing.
And Tom Bombadil taunts me.
Have you seen Star Trek?
Anyway.
I remember the Borg from Star Trek.
Let's get to the end of this fantasy because there's still a little bit more. But the real punchline is definitely you got this big mustache. Hey, man, I think your mustache is cool.
mustache is cool. Hey, man, I like mustaches. But I'm not going to believe
you do track, and all your friends run around and wave your arms, but everybody goes home alone at night because there is no family. None of it's real. You're living a simulation. You're living a fraud. If sports is a primitive form of virtual reality, it's real reality, but based in a controlled confine where the outcome won't affect the true power structure. And now they're extrapolating it out to VR and total systems that remove you from reality. And I could see that myself by studying it, but then I go read their own white papers, and they're giggling and laughing about it.
It is kind of funny.
While they're building armored fortresses in jungle mountain keeps from Tasmania to Kauai.
He's seen one James Bond movie.
No, and he's also saying from Tasmania to Kauai. And he's just talking about Peter Thiel and Mark Zuckerberg. He's not. I mean, it's not like he has.
Well, Peter Thiel's evil,
but he's not saying he doesn't have information on a great swath of elites moving to jungle fortresses. There were just two people who announced that they were creating like vacation homes.
But if you're going, you know how rich people work. One guy gets a jungle mountain fortress, and then it's like, well, I gotta get an even better jungle mountain fortress. Sure. And then eventually, they're clearly fighting each other from jungle mountain fortresses as the rest of the world burns, especially Austin, because do you know where they hide their lies?
Austin.
Their mustaches.
Oh, shit.
See, now that's why he's getting them first, like, hey, I like your mustache, and then tickles it.
Yep.
That's where the lies come out.
And if you tickle it, it falls out.
If you tickle a mustache,
it's the only way
the
to get
lies
a lie
fall
out of a mustache. All right. That's as believable as Agenda 21.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got this introduced a little bit at the end of the last clip, but now Alex really wants to get into how sports are a conspiracy.
Okay, yeah. So his idea...
I promise, we're going to get to Milo.
His idea of primitive virtual reality is just games. Games?
Games.
Just games.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Nope.
To some extent. I mean, think about like role-playing games and stuff like that. It's kind of like you're creating a false reality to live in for a while.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go with no.
Maybe Alex will be able to change your mind.
Okay.
I haven't even gotten to all this yet today, but after he leaves us, Super Bowl viewers see correlation between outcome and election. I love it. They created all these sports that are really for children to get men to be in arrested development, never make anything of themselves in life. It's also an alternate career, that doesn't threaten the elite. Oh, no, we don't want some of the most dominant, aggressive men in politics or life or even the military. We want you to, go to college so you can hope to be in one of these myriad sports teams, even though it's like 1 out of 10,000 you'll ever make a living at it.
Yeah.
So that by the time you figure out you've had your life destroyed, all you can do is be a coach at age 30.
Hey, you gotta give it up to Alex. He used myriad correctly. He didn't say myriad of sports teams. He said myriad sports teams, which is the classic, like the proper grammatical way to use that word. I don't personally do that. I still say a myriad of things. But I actually try to avoid that word altogether. I don't really like it. I like plethora. It's a little more... I don't know. Or I just say a lot. A shitload.
And by the way, the modern guy in France that created the new Olympics wrote books admitting all this as a way to control the public. And Hitler
Name
picked up on it as well and
book.
did the first big Olympics in 36. This is not my
one
opinion.
fucking
A lot of
book.
folks are...
It's not technically wrong, but it's like... It's not the original way it was used. It was... Myriad was originally just like an adjective. But it sounds more like a collective noun. So... It's often used like that nowadays, so they're not wrong or right. It's just two different ways to use it.
...to video games or sports. Go, oh, shut up, Alex. Hey, listen. I'm just telling you, it's meant to take your life over.
Now, I agree with this first part. We don't want the most aggressive men in politics or in the military. They're going to do aggressive man shit.
Yeah, if they have
you,
excess testosterone,
Yeah.
they're going to not be reasonable.
I don't know if you've ever read all of history, the human one.
I've read about a third of it.
The most aggressive men, they're not on the right side of history, ever.
They're
ever,
often pretty bad
ever.
dudes.
They're usually bad dudes.
But the idea that sports was created to keep aggressive people out of politics is wacky.
That is wacky.
And then the idea, too, that it's intentional so that once you realize it's all a trap, you have to become a coach.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, I mean, or you could take that college degree you earned and do something with it.
I've also known a number of coaches who are pretty fucking happy with being a coach.
I think it would be fun.
It's a good way to get people to exercise. It's a good way to try and import good messages to kids about team building, about caring about making it, working with others, that sort of thing.
It's actually a very valuable tool to curb male aggression and keep them out of politics.
He gets back into sports a little bit later with some even sillier theories, but now it is time to get to the Milo interview.
Yes. As I told you whenever we walked in, I brought an Italian wine to celebrate us discussing fascism.
And we're almost done with that.
Yeah.
And I have a bottle of Moscato because we don't deserve good things. But
we deserve Trump.
This interview, I really didn't know how to cut it up into separate clips. So it's just
we'll just pause in and out.
It's about a 10-minute interview that he does, and there's a couple of important things that I want to point out, but at any point, let me know and I'll pause it. Also, it starts with Alex saying that he's not going to announce what he and Milo have planned, and at the end of the clip, he straight up just
announces what they have planned.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. In true Alex Jonesian fashion.
So, I don't know. I was trying to give some sort of a setup, but...
It's an interview with Milo. Get ready to hear some shit.
Milo and I are also planning something on the street in the next few weeks that's exciting. We won't tell you about that until right before because of obviously the enemies that are out there. But
it's chalk
Milo,
arts.
Congratulations. Really pointing out how the First Amendment is really under attack.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. How are you, darling? Yeah, I love your introduction music, by the way. It's all very dramatic. It feels like we're in an episode of 300 or something.
I've never actually heard Milo speak before.
You haven't?
No, I've never heard him talk. I've fastidiously avoided his nonsense.
Well, I'm sorry to bring this into your life.
You have just forced this.
He's a wild, fast-talking British prick.
Okay.
Like he talks really fast and is really good at speaking to try and mask wild inaccuracies and total bullshit.
Awesome.
And
now that's going to make it hard for me to interrupt him.
No, not really.
Okay, good.
But any interview that he does is largely like rhetorical bullying. So like any interviewer
So he's like a worse Christopher Hitchens.
Somewhat, yes, and gayer. Which isn't that's not a downside at all. That's super cool.
No, I read Hitchens' memoir. He had some
you like
gay
to fuck
shit.
around?
He had some gay shit.
Good for you, Hitchens.
Good for him, right?
Yeah, here we go.
Wonderful. No, I've been having so much fun on the college tour, right up until, I guess, the West Coast. And then UC Davis, UW Seattle, UC Berkeley, things went dark. And we had the paid, black-clothed anarchists, these well-organized, well-funded anarchists.
Yep.
Coming
anarchists
in
are always well-funded.
And causing mayhem. And the progressive left refuses to disavow it, refuses to say this is terrible, that people should be allowed to express their views no matter what their views are. It's absolutely terrible for the left.
So his framing of this, like everything was going well until the West Coast, I mean, that's not entirely accurate, unless what he wants to say is that when he was at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, when he outed a trans student and mocked the shit out of her.
Is that because he's a monster?
Yeah, kind of.
It's because he's a monster, right?
Yeah, she came
Pretty sure
out
he's a
and
monster.
gave an account of the experience of being there. She had no idea that he was going to project a picture of her
Holy shit!
from years before when
Wait,
she was
what?
early in her transition.
What the fuck?
Called her a tranny.
No.
Got everyone to, like, he was mocking her, got everyone laughing at her.
What the fuck?
She was in the crowd.
No!
And was terrified.
Of course!
One of the quotes.
What the fuck?
One of the quotes about her transition was, "The way you know he's failed is I could still bang him."
What the fuck?
That kind of speech is so fucking inappropriate.
That's the worst. What? What? He did that in public?
He did that.
Why?
And got paid.
Why?
Got paid.
Why?
Free speech.
Why did he do it?
I don't know.
Why? Is there a reason behind? Does he?
Money.
Yeah, but you can't. They can't have paid him specifically to. They paid him to do his bullshit.
No, but this
Why
sort
did
of
he
thing
pick
gets him a
some
bigger
tranny?
reputation. Well, she was a student activist, and she was against positions that she was against positions he was for, and he deemed her an enemy and decided to basically dox her on stage. And I know it's not the same as doxing someone online, but it's so inappropriate.
That's the fucking cruelest thing I can. That is Carrie level cruelty. If she had psychic powers, everyone in that room should be fucking dead.
Yeah, if legitimately, if she had killed herself after that, no one would be surprised.
No.
And I mean, I can't imagine a room full of people laughing at me. They don't know I'm in the room while a charismatic speaker is mocking me on stage.
That's fucking believable.
For my identity and for something that has been difficult for me growing up. That sort of thing it's we talk about what evil actually is. That's evil.
Fucking cruel. That's the cruelest fucking. That's childish fucking cruel. Is he an 8-year-old?
And keep in mind that this is someone who's still in college.
Who's what? But could you get more punching down than that? What a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I can't.
He's the fucking worst.
That is not possible.
And that's part of the tour that's gone well.
Yeah.
Before he got to the West Coast. We'll get
Jesus, there's some crime there, right? There's got to be some crime involved.
I believe that she filed some sort of a suit with the school, but I don't know what ended up happening.
She absolutely should.
Yeah, I can't imagine you can't sue.
There's
for some sort of public slander, public harassment.
No, that's fucking nightmare.
At least harassment.
Yeah.
But wait, hold on. In this article, I think there might be.
No, the school owes her millions of dollars.
That's just something about a book deal that Milo has. Anyway,
fuck him. I hope he gets hit by a fucking truck.
He has a book out called Dangerous, and Alex Jones went on a long tirade about how it was supposed to be called Dangerous Faggot, but the media censors him. Because his tour, Milo's tour that he's on, is called the Dangerous Faggot Tour.
Okay.
But that's, again, just to push the buttons of the PC left. I don't give a fuck that you call it that. I don't think most people I know who are on the left don't care.
I mean, if he's going to be
particularly,
if he's going to, of all the things to be mad at him about, that's zero. That's zero on the list right now.
Doesn't rank.
That's zero. So he's a fucking monster.
At his event in Seattle,
I am going to be angry about that for months.
Yeah. At his event in Seattle, a protester got shot by one of his fans, got gut shot. In a confrontation, and they liked at least.
So even if you disagree with protesters shutting him down, you have to agree that him speaking is a safety hazard at best.
Yeah, at this point, but he would argue that it's because of these radical leftists.
But he's a fucking prick.
Mm-hmm. So
that
that happened in Seattle, and then his next date, I believe, I'm not sure if there were any in between, so I apologize for not having that full information. But he went to Berkeley, and then there were outright, essentially riots.
Yeah, because there should be.
But also, it came out that one of the things that he planned to do at UC Berkeley was to, much as he did with that trans student, he was going to out illegal immigrant students and make a target of them. So, the idea that he's expressing free speech and that's what's being shut down is really not all that accurate.
Do you know what it reminds me a lot of? It reminds me
Nazi-ish?
a lot of, like, say you wanted to commit some sort of Holocaust, right?
Uh-huh.
You would choose, like, some sort of underrepresented group, perhaps a minority, and then you would out them in front of your fervent supporters.
Yep.
In order to incite violence against them.
And it might be a good idea if you were sort of, I don't know, the money players behind wanting to catalyze this movement.
Yeah.
It'd be great if the figurehead was a really articulate member of another underprivileged group.
Yeah, that would be smart.
Because then it's really hard to attack him without looking homophobic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to go about it.
You can Trojan horse some stuff
It
a
would
little
be
bit.
awesome if you could also pay him a lot of money to do it as well.
Yeah.
So here's where that ends.
Yeah.
Okay? He's now officially a Nazi. Done. There's no further conversation about it. That is the end of that sentence.
He would have a long talk with you about
Milo
that.
is a Nazi. Here's what I would say in this long talk.
Yeah.
Milo, you be Milo.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, darling.
Hi, Milo. You're a Nazi.
I can't even do an impression of him because it's just, like in that first clip, how Alex was saying nothing for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Milo's really good at that.
Yeah.
He can just spin sentences where there's no substance, but it's like, man, your voice cadence is intoxicating.
Yeah. That's such a Nazi thing to do.
It kind of is.
He's a Nazi. Here's the way that free speech argument goes. Once again, all right, First Amendment, Congress can't make a law outlawing you saying shit.
That's a really big part of the First Amendment.
Yeah, you can't go to jail for that.
Yeah.
No one has to fucking listen to you.
Right, and you don't.
And
no
if you're getting paid, then people who are, let's say, paying the institution, and that institution is paying this guy, have a 100% right to be like, hey, fuck you, you fucking Nazi.
Yes. Now, I want to make one point that is mildly defending him, but it's not. And that is that the First Amendment, in its spirit, truly is to protect abhorrent speech.
Yes.
And I agree with
that. Or
that.
speech that is abhorrent to the powers that be.
Right.
Especially.
Well, both. Things that are offensive to people and to the government. That should be protected. And I fully agree that Milo should be able to say the things that he wants to say.
100% agree.
But he does not have the right to essentially harass people and threaten them.
No.
Like that trans girl in Milwaukee.
That is a
threat.
crime. That is a
threat.
crime, and he should be arrested
for
that.
What he intended to do in Berkeley was a threat to these people. And whether you're like, oh, they deserve the threat, they're here illegally, that's not relevant. That is absolutely not relevant.
No, the end. He's a Nazi.
There are also limits to free speech. As much as we want to say free speech, hooray, there are limits. You can't threaten people. You can't commit slander. These sorts of things are built into the First Amendment. And what he's doing, maybe it's not slanderous because it's technically true. Some people are here illegally, but it is a threat.
It's an absolute threat.
So
he is inciting violence.
It may or may not be protected.
He is shouting fire in a crowded theater.
Now we have to deal with the secondary aspect of it, which is the idea that these leftist, well-organized, well-funded protesters, again, it's the Soros narrative,
of course,
are the ones who caused chaos and rioted. I've watched a bunch of videos of the beginning of what was going on there, and I'm not going to say it's responsible for all of it, but there's a lot of people agitating the protesters. There's a lot of people who are getting up in their face and trying to get them to be violent.
There was
and at a certain point, you can only push people so far.
There was that video of the guy who
Eddie
got
Brock?
punched. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, he was pulling
pseudonym Eddie Brock.
Yeah, he was pulling this whole I'm just an innocent guy there. He was getting up in people's faces and literally forcing them to react
a centimeter from their face.
Yeah, they
with
just
his
wanted
phone
a
in their
fucking
face.
protest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, again, Nazi. Here is my take on Nazis and the First Amendment and how we should handle this.
Mm-hmm.
It should not be illegal to espouse Nazi beliefs.
Okay.
It should also not be illegal to punch Nazis. Now,
I agree.
that is at the very best. You know what? I understand why people would push back against that.
We got some more Milo to get through.
So here's my compromise.
Okay.
Everybody gets one. You get to punch a Nazi. If you can prove they're a Nazi, you get to punch a Nazi one time.
So our listeners have field day on Milo now.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not encouraging that.
You know what? Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In literally every movie you've ever seen where a Nazi gets punched, have you ever been like, oh, man, I wish they'd protected that Nazi?
There's that iconic scene in Indiana Jones where he punches out that Nazi.
I want to be like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Not in his archaeology. He's very dangerous to artifacts and indigenous peoples. In all aspects, he's probably bad. He's white imperialism, but God damn it if the man doesn't punch a good Nazi.
All right, let's get back to the alleged Nazi Milo.
Bring themselves to hold to basic principles. Voltaire, I hate what you say, but I'll defend you're right to say it, whatever. This shows the left that they're most sinister and authoritarian, and that's why my book, as you say, and thanks for bringing it up, is shot to number one. At the top of the Amazon bestseller list. And interestingly, the 3 books at the top of the Amazon bestseller list this morning are The Handmaid's Tale, 1984, and me. And I think it's just an indication of how America is feeling about the ruling elite.
I think he gets it backwards. He talks about how that's how people feel about the ruling elite. Maybe it's how they feel about
you fucking Nazi.
Absolutely. And now Le Pen is way ahead in the polls. The Brexit's happened. We've got Italy saying no to EU expansion. This is amazing. I mean, I think we've reached a major tipping point, and no matter what George Soros or Nancy Pelosi do, Milo, I don't see them reversing it.
No, neither do I. I mean, this becomes a point, beyond which messing to people through the media and all of the other various bits of the rigged system that were pointed in Hillary's favor in the last election just don't work against the colossal volume of people who are just sick of being lied to and lied about, sick of having their lives sick of being ruled over by people who think that they know how we should speak and what we should read and what we should know, how we should express ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to play the rest of this.
He's a fucking Nazi.
I don't really want to play the rest of this because it's a long interview.
This is so fucking brutal.
Yeah,
listening to this man talk is heartbreaking on so many levels.
It's a thorough ass kissing from Alex, and they talk about a bunch of nonsense. But the one thing that I wanted to bring up, and maybe we can get to it because I think it's kind of early, and then we'll cut it. But I want to get to a part where he talks about people's. Oh, I'll get to it. Hold on.
People are tired of this now. They're tired of policies that benefit global elites and don't benefit regular people, and they're voting accordingly. And, all of the rigging and vote.
Never mind.
They're tired of it, and they're voting not accordingly. They're voting the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
I agree that George Soros and Nancy Pelosi aren't going to do shit for us.
Probably not.
The main problem is that apparently we're not doing shit for us either.
We're doing a good podcast.
We're trying.
Hey, everyone, spread the word.
Least amount.
Help us out. Spread the word.
Fight.
I know you're out there listening. I can see the numbers. We're growing. Help us out. Each one teach one. Spread the word.
Knowledge, fight for the truth.
Or let's go the opposite direction. Keep your mouth shut about our show.
Yeah, we don't want to get fucking found out. Look,
keep us under the fucking radar.
At this point, we are saying some openly seditious things to our coming world government of fucking authoritarian Nazis.
So there's a point where Milo talks about how he saw Robert Reich on CNN, and he was suggesting that it was possible that right-wing forces were responsible for the rioting at Berkeley. And Milo says that this is an absolute bullshit. It's one of the most sickening, crazy conspiracy theories he's ever heard. And then in the same breath is like, well, these protesters are paid by George Soros. And they're well organized.
The most sickening thing I've ever heard as well.
But the opposite
all of this is
absolutely
sickening,
true.
But the opposite is true. No, and if they were well organized and paid, wouldn't they be better at being nonviolent?
Yeah, probably.
Wouldn't that be what you would really want to organize around?
No, because he doesn't give a shit.
Now, here's the thing about that. I do agree with Robert Reich. I don't agree with Robert Reich.
Right, I don't entirely.
I don't think it's the right wing. I think it's that fucking everybody is losing their shit right now because nobody has any fucking clue what's going on.
And on both sides.
Exactly. The right wing doesn't understand what's happening right now. They're starting to get this like inkling of, oh, maybe we're getting fucked. Mm-hmm. And that is driving them insane. And there's no stability in our government. So that's going crazy.
I think crazy people are emboldened on both sides.
Exactly. The left, we're aware that we're getting fucked, and apparently we have zero power. So there's all of these powerless people surrounding each other in one small place. Yeah, you're going to get violent conflict. Because you only punch the people you see instead of the actual people everybody's mad at.
We come back to this over and over.
Which are the global elites. We're all mad at them.
Yeah.
Everybody. They're the ones who fucked us over to the point where these idiots voted for somebody to fuck us over more.
We just have a debate necessarily really about who they are. Like, we think it's... it's a broad group. It's very, some of it's connected, some of it's disconnected. I mean, it's complicated. They think it's globalists, which is a code for Jews.
Right. I think it's pretty obvious that once all of the corporations no longer have any ties to any country, then now it's not about any country.
Yeah.
So they're trying to screw over anybody everywhere because that's where they can get their money.
Yeah.
So they're just capitalist self-perpetuating war machines that are going to eventually eat each other alive. But they just can't. They don't understand that because they can't. It's in their very nature to eat themselves alive.
And that's one of the great reasons why this whole nationalism streak is going to be dangerous.
Super dangerous.
Because eventually you're going to have to come up against each other.
Yeah.
If everyone is America first, Germany first, all this, there will be no room for compromise.
Isn't
eventually.
that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that really crazy how every time there's a giant nationalism outbreak, everybody fucking goes to war?
It seems like it's a pattern.
Yeah.
But I want to make a few more points about Milo before we move on to some crazy bullshit from Alex afterwards.
Great.
We got a little bit more. So he claims that he was kicked off Twitter because he made a fat joke about Leslie Jones.
Sure.
Absolutely not true.
Nope.
That was very, very not true.
Could be because he's a racist Nazi.
That's a big part of it. Also, tweeting fake tweets that were allegedly, they were created with, like, how you can just make a fake tweet with someone, make it look like they said it?
Yeah.
He tweeted a bunch of, like, racist things and faked it as if they were coming from her, sicked a bunch of really crazy people at her, were making death threats.
Wonderful.
Ended up hacking her, leaking nude pictures of her and shit like that. It's that's why you get kicked off Twitter.
Jesus fucking why?
You were instrumental in a doxing. That's what happens.
What could possibly be?
It was just a fat joke.
What could possibly be your? What? How can anybody be this much of a monster?
I don't know.
Like I look. I can't walk down the street and suddenly find myself walking behind a woman at a very similar pace without me going through this. Wait, does she think I'm a murderer?
Yeah.
Am I a murderer? Have
I
been? I'm not a murderer.
I don't think I am.
I don't think I'm a murderer. I have an existential meltdown just because I'm terrified of walking 10 feet behind a girl at the right speed. I have to run to get ahead of her.
But that's because
to make sure that I'm not confusing myself with murder.
But that's because we're pussy libtard cucks.
Yeah, but
and that's why we're never going to make it.
How about let's all do that?
Sure. It would maybe be better if everyone is a little bit more squeamish than they were aggressive.
Let's all stop for a second and just think, wait, am I doing what a murderer would do?
Maybe. Maybe it would be helpful if we thought that way.
Yeah.
But here's what's...
Or let's say, am I a Nazi?
Here's the other good news about...
Don't be Nazis, guys.
Here's the other good piece of news about Milo. He's a horrendous pussy. So
that's not a good piece of news.
Yes, it is.
I find that
very laughable.
I find that even more frustrating.
Well,
because if you're going to be a Nazi, at least don't then play the victim
don't
card.
Don't cry when you're punched.
Yeah, every fucking time. Oh, I got punched. I'm a Nazi.
So let me tell you the story of why he's a pussy. So around when he got kicked off Twitter, he was making the rounds in the media, and he was all full of steam that he was going to lead a gay pride march through Stockholm's Muslim neighborhood because he's like, they hate
Stockholm?
Yeah.
Sweden?
Well, one of his big things is that, like, there's all this immigrant crime that's going on, and Sweden has become a home of rape gangs, and
Which
they're killing
and it
gays
hasn't.
and stuff like that. It's underreported, much
It
like
hasn't.
that.
None of these things have happened.
You're just not paying attention.
I am.
So he was going to lead.
I'm paying attention real hard.
He made a big fucking deal out of this. He was even on Rogan's podcast and announced he was going to do this gay pride march.
Right. How'd that go?
He fucking canceled. After a briefing by our security team and a review of the situation in Sweden, Breitbart News has canceled Milo's appearance at the Pride Jarva parade on Wednesday, July 27th. Despite Milo's request to honor his commitment, we are not confident that we can ensure his safety. That is bullshit.
I mean, if I were at a pride parade and Milo was there, I don't think he would be safe.
Well,
not from any roving bands of Muslim gangs. I'll tell you that.
Just from you.
Just from anti-Nazi people.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and say Nazi on this podcast as many times as it was said in Inglourious Basterds.
Said it a bunch already.
There's no other word for it.
So, but that's...
I want to use other pejoratives.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the only one I can think of that's worse than Nazi
yeah.
is double Nazi.
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 Sound like the pizza guy.
Yeah, that was the pizza guy. Yeah.
So he made
Little Caesar sponsor us.
He made a big deal about how brave he was and how he didn't care and he was ready to die at this parade. And I think he realized I might get fucked up at this parade.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I can't show ass here. I can't cancel.
So Breitbart,
he made
has to do
it for him.
That's a pussy move right there.
It is. So anyway, Alex.
Actually, pussies are much stronger than that.
Yeah, Kegel muscles.
Yeah.
So
that's a Nazi move right there.
Alex finishes up his interview with him. They talk about how they do have plans on the streets. Alex is going to join him when he goes back to Berkeley for a free speech thing. Like, oh boy. Can't wait for that to not happen.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
Breitbart's going to cancel the fuck out of that.
Alex then gets back up to his old tricks and makes some vague fucking angry death threats.
Oh, yay!
That's what real leadership is building new systems, founding new cities, launching new ships, launching new personalities, launching new movements. That's what I care about. I sincerely want to turn the tide so bad against globalism that I have to get people to restrain themselves, not to turn into authoritarians to rout out the globalist. Those that have committed crimes must be prosecuted, but I don't want to become them when we're, basically cleaning them up. I want to do it very judiciously, by the book, by common law, by the Constitution. But I'm not going to take pleasure in it. And some obviously will have to be executed.
Sure.
Pedophiles and people, devil worshippers, you're going to have to die. If you've been killing kids and we find you with a bunch of dead bodies, you're going to get a jury trial and you're not going to be on death row for 20 years, bro. You're going to be dead in about a year. So just get ready. We're going to kill you. So just be prepared. And I don't say that to act tough. It's just I need to be honest with people what we're dealing with here. You kill kids, we're coming for you. And I know you've been doing it.
I mean, yeah.
And God hears their screams. And you know what? God is sending vengeance. So just get ready. And by the way, I'm not the one that's going to deliver the vengeance. I'm just...
Why not, pussy?
Also, how fucking scary is that laugh?
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm not going to be the one who kills you.
This is human laugh.
Hold on. Here's where he gets to his role in the whole thing.
Bong, bong, I'm the war drum. I'm just ceremonially up here banging the drum, and you see the armies and the fires at night as the camps build and as people shift gears into reality.
They're shifting gears into reality, and the war is coming against these pedophiles.
If you kill kids...
I feel like I want to add more to this little background here to make it clear that this is the 3D model for the hologram. I don't know, I could just draw some more sci-fi kind of bullshit and figure out kind of where this... Might move this over a little bit. I don't know if you have any suggestions. What should be inside of this? This is like kind of the operations security room for the globalist cave. And in case you didn't see it, this room does already include a baby juicer. Okay, so if you're suggestion was some kind of a baby juice machine. I already did that. Okay, it's right here. The globalists get fresh squeezed baby juice on demand. And this is the hologramo. This is the 3D model. That's something. I don't know what that is. And I want to just maybe make some more somethings. Just to sort of fill out the scene. And this is where Jordan says, we got to have the 3D model up. Got to have the hologram all set up. Right, so we have, hey, Marissa, we got to make sure we have the... So what about Marissa? Should I draw... I was thinking... It looks like he's sort of looking off this way. But what if instead he comes in and he looks like in the foreground and we have like a... like Marissa like here or something. She's like sitting down and working. And then when he says her name, she kind of looks up from here. Hey. So his eye lines don't quite look right. I want him to be looking kind of here toward the camera. So I think that makes sense. So I need to take a little bathroom break, but that's the next thing. I want to fix his eye line. And the eyes are really blurry. And it's because he's really small. This is only 1080p. So it's not going to be a big problem that it's blurry, but it's still really obvious that he's looking in the wrong direction. So we got to go through a few different frames to fix that. I could just draw the face once with the correct eye line and then kind of transform and animate it. Because I only have, let's see, here. So he's looking this way, and then, let's say on this frame, let's move him a little bit this way. Yeah, he's going way too far to the right. He's not growing enough. He needs to be bigger. Hey, Marissa. Hey, Marissa. And then Marissa turns. And then we got to make sure we have the... That probably could be just one picture. We got to make sure we have the... We gotta make... Okay. Oh yeah, bathroom. It's weird how I can forget the shit like that. I have to go do that. Let's go.
I agree.
I totally agree, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an if-then statement we can all get on board with.
Yeah, we're all there.
If you're killing kids, you should die.
I feel like most of the people he wants to die, though, have killed 0 kids.
Well, Hillary Clinton's personally killed and raped many kids.
That's
we know
true.
This.
I mean, not with her own body.
So after this threats of death and what have you, he gets into a sentence. I don't know if...
Also, I don't think you should be able to murder devil worshippers.
Nope, absolutely
I feel
not.
like that's one, yeah.
Remember the First Amendment we love so much?
You kill kids, bad. I'm gonna agree with Alex on that one. Sure. If you're a devil worshiper, I don't know, devil worshippers seem pretty cool.
Yeah, I know a couple Satanists. They're awesome.
So far, they've done nothing but good in the world, which is very...
The secret Satanists, they're the ones who have piles of dead kids in their basement or
Okay,
whatever.
well, I mean, yeah. Well, again...
The secret Satanists that may or may not exist.
If in your devil worshipping you kill kids, bad.
Bad.
We're all on board.
Yes.
If you are...
You know what? You know what's the through line that makes it necessary to be bad? The killing kids part.
I feel like that's the part that you and I get hung up on.
Just being Satanists, fine.
Fine,
Killing kids and being a vegan, you
bad.
gotta go.
Bad.
Killing kids and being anything, bad.
Bad.
So anyway, here's where Alex Jones accidentally, I don't think he meant to say this sentence. He ends up accidentally...
I worry how many sentences he does and does not mean to say.
He accidentally says something that is quite literally blasphemous. So... right after talking about how God hears the screams of these children.
Right.
And
God is ascending vengeance.
Now here comes some literal blasphemy.
Those of you that have spliced humans with animals and engaged in incredible abominations,
Chimeras.
You must be made examples of so that others fear ever doing what you've done. I'll put it this way. If you don't fear God, we're going to make you fear man. That's how God works.
No.
That's the blasphemy.
Nope. That's not how God works.
I looked through the Bible as best I could to try and find any indication that God's like, hey, if they don't care about me, you guys take it.
Yeah. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's Jesus take the wheel. Not Jesus. I'm still drunk, but let's fucking do this.
Also, quite literally, the reverse is in the Bible. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So he's literally going 100. I mean, we can take all the wacky energy stuff that he says and that sort of bizarre religious bent he has that is very much not Christianity.
No.
You can take that aside, and he's
got like a hodgepodge of Zoroastrianism and crystals. Like this dude's all over the place religion wise.
Well, he expresses some of his religious stuff a little bit towards the end of these clips that we have. But here he says something racist. It's not racist. It's ish.
Let's find out.
It's race-ish.
And in Europe now, and they're trying to bankrupt Trump's plan to reboot the West and the Renaissance and then empower the third world and make deals everywhere. You can't have a one-sided deal that helps the third world because it doesn't even help them. It helps the globalists use the one-sided deal to play monopoly in the West and consolidate control. We've been part of an economic war, folks, not an economy.
Yeah.
We've been paying for it. It's been at our expense to build the world government for the New World Order. And Stephen Bannon writes white papers explaining that. That's why they want Bannon out of there. They're horrified of Bannon. He gets the whole thing. Bannon used to be a big liberal, big union guy, but he really wanted to help people. That's what they're doing right now, trying to get loans to small businesses. People ought to be kissing the feet of Trump. If you're a black American, you ought to be kissing his feet. If you're a white American, you should be kissing his feet. Because let me tell you something. These people are really committed. Just look at the look on Bannon's face right there. That's a guy on a suicide mission. He looks satisfied.
Yes.
He looks focused. He knows what he's doing. He knows the show.
100% agreed.
But also he flashes up a picture of Bannon and he looks like 3/4 drunk.
Yeah.
It's just like
every picture of Bannon looks like it looks like he's slowly turning into Jabba the Hutt.
He's got the bucolic nose that comes from drinking too much gin.
And then Trump is Salacious Crumb sitting on his shoulder.
Cackling. But also that, when he's like, black people should kiss Trump's feet.
Yeah, he very quickly went to, better make sure white people... Of course not.
I think he was ooh, caught myself there. Good save, Alex. Good save.
Because he thinks that... Yeah, I mean, clearly, because black people tend to vote Democrat in large margins because I'm a big fan of the earth.
They've already
not being here.
Made indications that they want to sell off public land, which eventually will lead to getting rid of national parks.
Yep.
We're going to go back to such dark times.
Yeah, I would say yeah, what are we talking? Like 1890s, whenever children were forced to work in factories. And...
Well, that was a nice tweet I saw someone post. It was like, hey, Davos is turning. Betsy DeVos getting in is going to be really bad for schools, but it's not going to matter because they'll be in the mines pretty soon.
Yeah,
anyway.
No kidding.
It's like, well, that's kind of.
I hope I can't
it's
believe
an exaggeration, but it doesn't feel off.
I can't believe
That's how we're going to deal with all
every morning I wake up and I open Twitter and I just go, no, like that. This is a fucking
I do too,
nightmare.
Because I don't have any retweets.
This
So no one retweets my shit. I'm petty.
This is fucking. What? How is it? How is it that half of our country doesn't vote? A plurality of our country that did vote voted for Hillary Clinton. Yet somehow we're in the darkest timeline. Like, we're in the darkest timeline, right? It couldn't possibly be worse than where we are right now.
I think it might have something to do with some of the philosophies that were espoused in that interview with Alexander Dugin.
I think it might have something to do with everybody being fucking insane now.
Yeah. So, hey, you know what? If you had an enemy in life, how would you describe that person? Like, what would you say, like, about, like, your mortal enemy? What would you say about him?
British, gay, outs transgender youths. Nazi. And also the guy wearing a white hat from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I'm not saying specific details.
Not saying
about
specific
them,
details.
But if you were like, "Hey, you are blank," like you were going to insult them, what were you going to say?
Nazi.
Okay. Alex has some different words about George Soros.
Great. I hope they're definitely anti-Semitic.
They're not. They might be the mildest words I've ever heard.
Oh, okay, good.
And it makes me so angry. They're trying to implode the economy right now to stop Trump and admitting they're doing it. I mean, it's like at a certain point, Bloomberg and Soros and these globalists and the Rockefellers and all the rest of them just need to stop.
Rockefellers.
Trump's going to let you keep all your stolen wealth. Just stop trying to make us poor, man. You're super uncool. You're super uncool.
Super uncool.
People like that. I'm a very long shelf life, in my humble opinion.
He went on a 7-minute tirade.
For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. We're getting sick of you thinking you're above the law.
He went on a 7-minute tirade about the sickening nothing that sickens him so
Agenda
much.
21.
But George Soros, you're just, you're so uncool.
Super uncool.
You are not cool, man. That is a dick move, bro. I can't believe you would do something like that.
He believes, or at least claims to believe, that George Soros is a literal Nazi collaborator. He has tried to crash our economy and the economies of other countries, and he's like, hey, man, look, you can keep your money. Just stop being uncool. What? That has to mean he doesn't believe it.
No. I mean, well, it could just be that he ran out of adjectives. You know, when you're writing a really long piece and you start looking at all the words you used and you realize, oh, I said shit or sick of, which we've heard in every single clip.
Yeah.
Every single clip we've played tonight, somebody has been sick of something.
Well, Alex has momentum with words. He's sick of a lot on this episode.
Yeah. Milo is sick of things.
For 2 days after he was on Rogan, he kept calling everything powerful because Rogan does that.
Because
he talks about...
He's such a malleable little stooge, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he talks about
really
that even in the Y2K as related to that. He's he said, I talked myself into believing.
Yeah. And once I believed what I talked myself into believing, I believed the shit out of it.
So I wonder if 15 years from now he'll look back on this and be like, that's the only other thing that I regret. Yeah. Trump, I didn't believe it. I'm not saying I didn't have integrity, but...
You are being wildly optimistic, suggesting any of us will be here in 15 years.
Yeah, I think we'll have a crash, and then we'll be coming back by then.
I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's like I said, we're in the darkest timeline.
Yeah.
Like, if...
It could be 50.
It could be the...
And believe me, I don't think any of us are going to make it. You, me, Alex, I don't think we're making it.
No, absolutely not.
Someone's going to take Alex out, and you and I are just going to die because we have
because
no
we
resources.
don't have Alex?
No, because we have no resources. We don't have Bitcoin. We don't have gold.
No. I'm thinking let's move to South America, you and I.
Okay.
We can do this podcast in occupied Rio.
We definitely could.
We can do this podcast anywhere,
Hey,
man.
let's start a Kickstarter to move us to Rio. That would be, first of all, fucking self-serving as hell.
Help us escape.
I would be so into that.
You guys stay behind. You know you need us more than...
If enough people tweet at me, I will start that Kickstarter as a goof.
You are really hammering home that you want attention on Twitter tonight.
I really do. We've gotten a number of tweets, but we need more. We need this show to spread. We need it to spread like wildfire. We're doing great, but we need it to do better. I'm not going to sell you survival gear or fake pills, but it would be great if you could get people into us. Retweet. We need a wider audience, right? Don't fucking laugh.
I'm sorry. I'm just not used to being this bald-faced in...
At least I'm being upfront about it.
You are. You can follow us on @knowledge @knowledge_fight. Look, if you're going to ask people to retweet us, you're going to have to give us, you're going to have to give people an immediate...
Fair enough.
Also, @knowledge_fight. Retweet Dan to make sure that he doesn't have a stroke of sad loneliness tonight.
And Knowledge Fight on iTunes. Please subscribe and give us some ratings. Give us a review. We'd love it. And don't snitch. If you're gonna,
tell people about us, but don't tell people. What are you, crazy?
Tell people, but don't you dare fucking tweet at me with Alex's handle. Don't you fucking... Someone did that.
Oh, no.
It scared the shit out of me.
That opens us up to just wild, intense...
I don't want to deal. Although, I would love it if I was listening one day and he started talking about us. That would be crazy.
Oh, man. I think we would shit ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We would do an emergency episode, and the entire episode would just be the clip of him talking about us.
And us just dancing with our pot bellies.
With our pot bellies and our singing our Tom Bombadil songs.
I shave my beard so I just have a mustache.
Tom
It's real cool.
Bombadillo.
All right, so we got one more clip. And this is also another thing that I think is, I would say, bordering on a psychotic break.
Okay.
But it also starts, I believe, with more weird theories about football.
Here's one quick. Let's go with one quick prediction corner right here. Okay.
This is the Eddie Bravo Memorial Prediction Corner.
No, but tell me about aliens, dude. I want to know.
That's Joe.
Oh, that's Joe, right. Eddie Bravo wants to know about chemtrails.
Yes. SIA.
Okay. So far, in the time that we've started this, it seems like Alex has gone crazier even by his own standards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How crazy? Do you think he's going to pull it back, or do you think he's going to lose his shit?
In this clip?
No. I mean, in our future episodes.
Oh, no. He's going to lose it.
He's got to spiral. He has to keep spiraling into crazy, right?
Right.
If he pulls back even for a second, the whole thing crumbles.
On the show that he did over the weekend, he had Roger Stone on, and they were... and by the way, I want to make this clear. I will never play a clip with Roger Stone in it.
Because he's evil?
No, I just think that he is a sort of a spinning spider, as they say. Like he's... Whatever he says is bullshit, and I don't...
He's like Peter Capaldi in The Thick of It.
Sure. I don't care to give him any. I don't want his voice on my show. Let's say that. But he and Alex were talking about.
Even for us, he's bad.
Yeah. And we played a little bit of Milo.
Yeah.
Notice how quickly we had to turn it off.
We had to bail on Milo.
Yeah.
You had a 10-minute clip served up, and I could not make it through without crying.
And it was mutual.
Yeah.
But he was on, and they were talking about how there are leaks coming out of the Trump White House. And basically what they were saying is there's the Bannons of the world and, General Flynn's, and they're the Trump people.
Gotcha.
And then you got people like
the inner circle.
Kellyanne Conway and Reince Priebus who are trying to sink the ship. So less than 20 days in, they're our enemies. The liberals.
No.
The media shit isn't really working. You can't really destroy the media necessarily.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, fuck, the enemies are in our own ranks.
The enemies are with it. Yeah.
And
well, they have to eat themselves alive.
Right. And that's the the next stage of crazy. And then once that happens, you start not trusting yourself.
Well, it is kind of that situation where own beliefs by their existence.
Somewhat. So anyway, this clip, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, starts with some wacky shit about football and then leads into more proof that Alex is not a Christian based on what we understand Christianity
We're
to be.
getting into the Leanne Wackadoo segment.
Well, it becomes a thing where, the beliefs that he started espousing on Rogan, the sort of out there 12th dimensional...
Multi-dimensional, yeah.
Some of that stuff has...
And I didn't even get into that today, how they're saying it's white supremacism because there's a few more white players. It's like the team's like more than half black.
He did get into it earlier, by the way. He's forgotten what he talked about.
Can we just let that one go?
Well,
let's all just be like, hey, the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and that has no bearing on white supremacy at all. Let's just leave this one alone.
But he's reacting to something dishonestly. What people were talking about was Richard Spencer,
who is a white supremacist
and a Nazi. He tweeted a bunch of stuff about how Tom
there
Brady
are plenty
was
of white players. Yeah. Again, no, let's leave it. Let's just let that one go.
Sure, but the media...
There's so many other reasons to punch Richard Spencer.
But the media and Twitter were responding to Richard Spencer being fucking racist as shit. No one was really saying, hey, this is racist because they have a white quarterback.
Yeah, no, nobody was. But again, let's all just be like, hey, we got... Betsy DeVos is the education secretary. Who gives a fuck what football team won fucking anything?
Sure. It's a petty squabble.
It is a petty squabble meant to distract us, much like
And then you
sports.
got some Hispanic players and some white players, and it's like black guys making most of the touchdowns. I mean, yeah, it's a good quarterback, and it's a good receiver. That's white guys and black guys working together. It's humans working together, and the media said, man, that's racist. I mean, the articles are on Infowars.com. How do you take that and turn it into something racist? But that's what they're doing.
It's not what they're doing.
To handicap everybody so this country's a bunch of basket cases. Quite frankly, I can't even believe it at this point.
You shouldn't. It's not true.
Because when you're informed, this stuff is so obvious. It's like I have eyesight, and the general public that isn't awake is blind. And so I'm awake on this plane of existence. I have eyesight, I have touch, I have smell, I have mobility. And I'm in this plane, and I see the majority of people are like blind, or they're halfway blind, or, you know, they're and I'm trying to wake them up. So I go, you have sight, you know, just take the goggles off.
You can't wake somebody up to...
All of a sudden I hear somebody next to me who's got eyesight. I go, oh, hey, you can see, why don't you help them? And they go, I'm going to eat these people. I'm going to abuse them and enslave them because they don't have sight. Stop trying to give them sight. I'm like, I'm not giving them sight. They've got blinders on. I want to take them off. I got kids. I want them to be friends with their kids. Just feed on them. They don't want your help. Watch this. I'll just take one's goggles off and say you're a bad guy. He's a bad guy. And then the guy attacks me. See, I told you. You don't want to give them sight. They're profane.
So this
What?
This is a paranoid fantasy mixed with Plato's allegory of the cave.
I think this makes zero sense at all.
You don't think it's just sort of a bizarre, sort of psychotic version of the allegory of the cave? It's like philosophy 101 shit.
Yeah, but also it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, of course not.
It's fucking insane.
Of course.
It is what?
There's
Wait.
demons
You can't
eating off people.
You can't wake somebody up out of blindness. That's not how blindness works.
Nope.
What?
I think it did in an episode of House.
Oh, that could be true.
But it was also
Just
House.
about everything wound up happening in House. House is basically
on
where...
the next episode of House. In order to save his patient, House will have to kill her.
That was a real promo for
Yeah,
House.
well, of course.
It was a great episode. I love House.
House is basically where Alex gets all of his ideas about what the globalists are doing,
I have
right?
great sources.
Yeah.
A guy named Greg. Gregory House.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
You can trust doctors and veterinarians.
He does not trust doctors.
Oh, of course not.
But anyway, so yeah, that
Vaccines give you autism, that whole thing. For fuck's sakes.
That was what. Oh, I don't know if we're ever gonna deal with it, but on Tuesday's show, he starts out the show eulogizing his grandmother, who is 94, who just passed away, and it's like it's sweet, it's nice, like it's those human moments that he has.
Yeah, he's a human being too,
and it's kind of like, oh, I feel bad shitting on him all the time. He's a man, and he's having a tough time. But then within a minute of starting the show, talking about his grandma, he talks about her getting a vaccine and how that was a soft kill on her. And she lived through, like, all these years after getting this vaccine, this polio vaccine. It's like...
Did she get polio?
I don't think so. But he used this whole, like, his grandma's death in order to sort of espouse...
Anti-vaccination beliefs.
Yeah. So it kind
All right, well, then fuck him. I do not feel human feelings for him at all.
It takes that humanity right away.
Yeah, he always rips the humanity out of himself. Mm-hmm. I got kids, and I'm gonna kill people.
Well, it was like that clip where he talks about his daughter loving his Cookie Monster impression, and then he's like, I was talking about nuclear war, excuse me. Like, all right, come on.
My daughter loves my Cookie Monster.
So,
in a world, everyone's going to get killed by the globalists.
this allegory of the cave ripoff was pretty insane. You're right, but it's going to get a little bit more insane.
They don't deserve the sight. You will be given the sight.
Why?
But you didn't give me the sight. God did.
Okay.
And I tell you, it is metaphysical because in my life, there's a lot of things that happen I'll never tell anybody about.
Is he going to
Because
immediately
it's
tell
too
us about
heavy.
them?
But I will just tell you, there's a lot going on in this universe that's not in these books. And the elite know all this stuff. And they don't want you to know. I mean, you're like a composite of all.
Wait, was he talking about the elites know the stuff that's not in the books, like the religious books, like the
Yeah.
Bible and whatnot?
Yeah.
What? Wait.
What?
Wait.
I don't know why you're confused.
Wait.
What are you talking about?
The elites know stuff that. So he's ostensibly espousing Christian beliefs,
Somewhat, yeah.
and there's a lot of stuff in the Bible
Uh-huh.
that they don't tell you about.
Well, I mean, if you want to just, like, take a really simplistic version, I don't think this is what he's saying. But if you read, like, the Gnostic Gospels and, like,
The ones where
Apocrypha-
Jesus fought dragons.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but some good ones.
But if you read, like, those extra biblical texts, there are a bunch of books that aren't in the Bible that say some pretty wild stuff.
like the ones where Mary isn't a virgin
Yeah.
and women are allowed to be people.
Sure. Or even, like, in the book of Enoch, Enoch goes up to heaven with God and he never dies. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So, like, there's a bunch of stuff in other texts.
Also, Elijah does the same thing.
Yeah, there's the two people who have never died.
Yeah.
But they're like, that's a simple version of it. I don't think that's what he's talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what he's saying.
He's saying that somehow the elites know more about the metaphysical beliefs of.
And he's had some shit happen in his life that he's not going to talk about because it's too heavy.
Yeah, but he's about to tell us about all that shit, right?
He's not, but
he's gonna do that.
No, but he's about to say some weird shit that, like, some of it I agree with, and,
Okay.
and some of it I don't, and we'll have to parse it out.
I'm
theory.
secretly in love with him,
It's not a secret,
but I want to love him, and then kind of for it. I'm kind of for it.
So again,
If we're gonna go crazy, might as well just fucking go all in.
my theory.
Chat in a while. Wonton Whack, hello. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being around. And Luke says, real Ernst Röhm vibes. Spread the word, shout it from the mountaintops. Alternatively, keep our name out your damn mouth. Yeah, Dan's pretty funny guy. He's like, tell us all about the podcast. Or we're going to slap him down onto our project. So first we got to find some guides out so I know kind of where to time everything.
3D model up. We gotta have the hologram all set up. If one of these guys was like, "Hey, Marissa." Hey, Marissa. Like, hey. These guys was like, hey, hologram all set up if all set up if anybody up if set up if have the hologram all set up if anybody
Maybe this should be 24. Let's see how that goes.
hologram all set up if any the 3D model up. We gotta have the 3D model up. We gotta have the hologram model up.
up. We gotta have the hologram. Gotta have the hologram all set up. If anybody fucks up, everybody's dead.
So this is the next part. If
anybody fucks up, everybody's dead.
So we need
set up. If anybody fucks up,
and then we need
everybody's dead.
That's, I think, is just going to be close-ups of Jordan making a scary face. Everybody's dead. But I need something for this
If anybody fucks up.
So maybe you cut back to him looking at Marissa. But maybe we'll have them with a different background. Maybe I'll have Marissa over here and Jordan here in the middle, kind of looking maybe in the other direction. So, because it's like Marissa's sort of just here in the middle of the room and he's walking around. So I'm thinking the picture background 2 with the baby blood, the baby juice machine. Maybe we could put Marissa in the bottom left quadrant and then Jordan here kind of in front of the baby juicer. And he'll say, if anything fucks up, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Okay, Marissa is here. Let's see how that looks. So let's put her over here. All right. As far as what's next to listen to, we're almost finished with episode 10. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna figure out how to position her and where her eyes should be looking. But let's do our next podcast. There's a little bit left of this one, but the one I have next is actually, I think, the next podcast.
Back about some of the trippy shit he was saying.
All right.
And he realizes, I can cater to the sort of shroom heads out there and like some of the what he has already called trendies.
And diversify his audience because he knows that the other audience is sticking with him.
Yeah.
Through thick and thin.
Yeah.
At this point, they're committed. Yeah, they're in.
Yeah.
If you want to go to trippy shit, all that Christian nonsense, fine. Let's bail on it and let's go to 12 fucking dimensions.
So now, again...
Guess, play along and guess which...
You keep notes and guess which parts of it.
Okay.
These people before you in this human journey and their genetics, and it's been proven you have their instincts and many of their memories, and you can access all of that, and the enemy knows that. I had an article I meant to get to today, and I didn't get to it. How they've confirmed that trees have fungus networks and that trees communicate with trees. What about ancestral memories? You know, you seem like a Vulcan mind meld. Where do you think stuff like that comes from, huh? Like, can you imagine being a child and having the knowledge of an old man put into you? Now, they call that the occult. No, the people that want to keep all that hidden, that's the occult. All this stuff should be known. And the media makes jokes about this when I talk about know all about it. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and play games with people who are trying to suppress humanity. I want to empower humanity. Now, I got a loaded phones here, but I'm sorry I'm out of time. No pressure on David. If he wants to flush him, I understand.
Say this before we get to your predictions, which I'm very excited to get see your guesses. At about the 1 hour, 6 minute mark of the show, he announces the lines are open. He's going to start taking calls. I'd like you to guess what time stamp he takes his first call.
He does not take a call.
He takes 2 calls.
He takes 2 calls. Let's go with...
When's the first one?
Let's go with 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Nah, too far. It was 1 hour and 31 minutes. Disagreed with him. I know you mentioned that.
Yeah!
And
How'd it go?
I wish I had the clip of it, but it was just like this guy who's like, you know what? I got this is Alex. He's like, I got a listener who disagrees. So clearly there are some screeners involved.
Right.
But he's like, all right, what's up? Let's talk about it. And he's like, Alex, I disagree with you. I think it would be important for you to be in the White House press corps. I disagree. You're better than you think you are.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with
All right,
that.
genetic memory. Yes.
I believe the species
Yes.
does have a memory.
You do agree with that.
Yeah,
I called that one.
Well, the
trees do have an underground fungal network wherein that if you chop down a tree miles away, instantly the other trees will know somebody's chopping down trees.
No, I don't know what that means, but it is true.
I think it means that Pocahontas was right, and every rock and every creature and every forest has
Can you
a
sing with
spirit.
all the voices of the wind?
No, I can't.
But yeah, I am not sure I understand, and I don't think anyone does really what the communication that's going on with them is. But there is some sort of a transmission.
I think there is a basic level of consciousness.
Like
there.
there's danger.
I think that implies
you're getting chopped down. It's like danger, danger, danger.
Yeah,
okay.
and then you release. I mean, if you're a tree, not you specifically,
right.
But then trees release all of their defense mechanisms, the smells, the oils, and all of that stuff.
Okay.
Now, I do kind of think that means there's a base level consciousness within most plants as well.
Sure. And they've done studies about talking to houseplants.
Right.
But it's unclear whether it's breathing carbon dioxide on them or...
that's a whole... those kind of studies are it's so hard to kind of isolate any element there to actually prove or disprove anything. But that would be my suspicion. Which to me means that no matter what you do, no matter what you eat, you are killing something that is alive and is aware and is screaming as it dies.
Unless you're one of these people who only eats the fruits that have already fallen off trees.
That's true.
There are those people. I don't remember exactly what their
Although
term
those
is.
are seeds, which means those are abortions. If you eat it, that's an
eat the
abortion.
seeds, then. Plant that shit.
No, but the fruit is whatever.
Depends on the fruit.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. What's next?
So yeah. Morphic knowledge.
What does that mean?
The idea that there's an internet of humans.
The idea that we can communicate telepathically?
Yes.
Not sure on that one.
No. Well, the theory behind morphic knowledge is they observed this, I want to say like a couple of times where on one island a species of bird would suddenly figure out how to use a tool to get to something. And then within a week, even though there's been no contact, that same species somewhere else would have the same exact thing.
For humans, there's the studies that have been done about like old crossword puzzles being easier than new ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That kind of, is there a morphic knowledge that we all share? I'm going to go with no.
It's fun to think about.
It is.
But I'm not sure that... And then even if you want to go another step and get even trippier, there have been studies that have been done on like lucid dreaming where people...
Of the what if you were a little kid with an old man's knowledge?
I think that was a separate thought. There was a pause
that sounded
there.
Crazy.
There was a pause there, and I think that was a separate thought.
I'm going to go with you don't agree with that one.
I think that was Benjamin Button. No, I don't know if I agree
And
with
then
that
here's my final thing that I don't know if you believe or not, right? It is Alex Jones saying he knows all about it.
You missed one. Movies and all that stuff is what's known as predictive programming. So something comes out in a movie that's super true, but the powers that be don't want you to think it's true. So it comes out in a movie, so when it comes out in real life, you're like, I don't believe that. It's just like that stupid movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a really impossible thing to disprove.
Yep.
Mainly because what?
That's what most conspiracy theory stuff comes down to is wildly unprovable theory stuff.
Yeah, and you can't disprove it.
Excuse me, that's what I meant. I meant disprovable.
Yeah.
I apologize.
That is the bedrock of that's the old Carl Sagan anecdote where the woman came up to him and was like, I believe there's a turtle underneath the earth holding it up.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what's below that? And she's like, a bigger turtle. What's below that? An even bigger. It's turtles all the way down.
Yeah.
That's the gem of their argument, right?
Somewhat.
It's always going to be an infinite loop of you'll never,
We're still
never
trying to
treat
figure
me.
out what that other turtle is like, but man, there's a turtle.
Man, I know there's a turtle.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
But
Not a tortoise. We ate all those.
Also, back to your last one, I do not believe that Alex knows everything.
You don't think so?
No. But I have a question. You missed one. Do you believe this?
I'm a policy wonk.
By far, the greatest thing that has ever happened is him saying he's a policy wonk.
I can't wait until we compile an entire morning zoo crew bump level of just boom, this he said one time. Boom, this he said one time.
Black people should kiss Trump's feet.
I love you.
Do like a Dr. Drew boogie.
Yeah. Get a Casio keyboard and just upload all of that shit in there.
Anybody who has any musical skill, please do something. Oh, God. Well, that's it for our clips, man. That was Monday, February 6th.
February 6th.
The month's off.
Yeah.
This has been fun, Jordan.
Always a pleasure.
So much fun. Guys, until next time when we come back.
Yeah, you can catch us on @knowledge_fight. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Do you want to give out our personal Twitter handles?
Leave me alone. Also, though, we got to come up with a better sign-off.
Yeah. What do you think our sign-off should be?
Alex
I'm
Jones.
a policy wonk.
Until next time, we've been
policy wonks.
Andy in Kansas, you're on the air. Thanks for
right.
holding.
Episode 11. We're just going to go to the next one. We're still in the old school. Old days. Old pre-pandemic days.
Hello, Alex. I'm a first-time caller. I'm a huge fan. I love your work.
I love you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Knowledge Fight. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
This is a show where I have watched way too much InfoWars and Alex Jones in particular, and I sit down with my friend Jordan.
Who has no goddamn clue what he's talking about.
Jordan, how are things?
They're doing good.
Before we get to the business at hand, which today we're going to be going over the February 10th episode of the Alex Jones Show. That was last Friday as this comes out.
Okay.
But before we get to that, there's a couple of little bits of business we need to take care of.
Absolutely.
First of all, got a big old shout-out.
To @randomly Susanna.
On Twitter. What's up, Susanna? Thank you so much.
She made something very cute and very beautiful, and it made me cry.
Yep, that's right. We got a cuck over here. We got a pussy libtard cuck.
That is me. That is me.
She made us a very nice drawing for a logo. Very awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You can find that up on our new Tumblr, which is knowledgefight.tumblr.com. That's another announcement. I had another announcement, but I forgot what it was.
It was regarding the David Knight episode.
Oh, yeah. We'd like to make a big apology that we put you through that.
I know plenty of you voiced your support.
I did hear from at least 3 people that was bullshit.
Okay, good. Then plenty of you did not voice your support, and we agree with you.
Yeah. Listen, David Knight's a boring man. We get it.
So boring.
But we're back in the greener pastures of the real, straight, 100-proof Alex Jones territory.
The Everclear of Alex Jones.
What I like to do is I like to sit down and try and figure out...
And he will buy you a garden.
Oh, he'll buy you a new life.
He'll buy you a new life.
Yeah. What I like to do is I like to sometimes try and figure out what the plot of a show is. Because a lot of times
Okay.
Alex Jones has something that's going on in his mind, and it sort of
Bleeds into every aspect of...
It becomes the narrative of the show. And this show, I really struggled with what it was, and I can't really find a synthesis. And now I actually regret that I brought up the idea that there are narrative arcs. He's mad.
So you just negated your entire premise there. Because if you think back to most of our shows, you can say yes and no half the time, right?
Well,
there's a 50-50 proposition.
I promise I didn't. I'm trying to figure out a way to articulate this.
Okay.
I'm about to play a clip, and I want you to let it play. Let's just listen to it, because he plays it 3 times
Oh, wait, what?
He plays this clip 3 times.
Back to back to back?
No, throughout the show.
Oh, okay.
And for the last week, he's played it a whole bunch.
Okay.
And it's just insanity. He loves this clip. And it's propaganda.
It's Russell Westbrook dunking on the guy, right?
I wish it was.
He loves that clip.
No, it's that gorilla drinking its own piss. No, it's let me play it. It's about dumb. It's about how
it's a kitten that thinks it's a person.
It's about how fucking stupid Democrats are.
All right,
and we'll get back and I'll explain why I hate this clip so much in a minute. Oh, also, this is how he opens the show.
He has the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 silent movie era.
And so just to let you know, this is how the fucking entire show opens.
Oh, every time?
No. Well, that yes.
Oh, okay.
But this clip is how he opens Friday's show.
Oh, okay.
So it's just cold open.
Gotcha.
This is a island that, at its miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level, or smallest locate one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point,